If you're a man over 60, let me ask you a simple question. What did you have for breakfast this morning? Was it a piece of toast, maybe a quick bowl of cereal, or perhaps you skipped it altogether? For many men, breakfast is just something to get through, not something they really think about. But what if I told you that one single food, something you can easily include in your morning routine, has the power to boost your circulation, give you back energy you thought you'd lost, and even improve your performance in ways you might not expect? That's right, the food you choose first thing in the morning can set the tone not only for your day, but also for your long-term vitality. I'll never forget one of my patients, George, who came to see me when he was 67. He sat down across from me and said, "Doc, I'm tired all the time. My legs feel heavy, my energy is low, and truth be told, I just don't feel like myself anymore." George wasn't sick, and he wasn't depressed. He was simply experiencing what so many men do as they get older: sluggish circulation, lower stamina, and that creeping sense that their best days might be behind them. But the truth is, that doesn't have to be the case. In fact, once George made one simple change to his morning routine, he started to notice remarkable improvements. Now, before I share more about George's journey, let me properly introduce myself for those of you who are new here. My name is Dr. Nolan Easton, and I've been working as a men's health specialist for more than 30 years. Over the decades, I've had the privilege of helping thousands of men navigate the challenges of aging, whether it's circulation problems, declining energy, or performance concerns in the most private areas of life. What I've learned is this: small, consistent changes often make the biggest difference. And today, I want to guide you through one of the most powerful changes you can make starting tomorrow morning. Here's the thing. After age 60, circulation becomes one of the most important indicators of overall health. When blood isn't flowing well, it doesn't just affect your heart or your legs, it affects your energy levels, your brain function, and yes, your performance as a man. Many men are surprised to learn that those morning stiffness issues or lack of energy aren't just about aging. They're often about poor circulation. And the good news is, there are natural, food-based ways to turn that around. When George and I looked closely at his daily habits, it turned out that his mornings were setting him up for failure. He'd grab a plain white bagel with cream cheese or a sugary cereal because it was quick and easy. But foods like that can cause blood sugar spikes, inflammation, and sluggish blood flow. It's no wonder he felt heavy and tired just a few hours later. So instead of starting his day with empty calories, I suggested he try a nutrient-dense breakfast food that's been proven to support circulation, energy, and vitality in men his age. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, "Doc, I've tried eating healthy before, and it never makes a difference." I understand that feeling. At 60, 65, or 70, it's easy to believe that nothing will really change. But that's not true. I've seen it over and over again with men like George. When you fuel your body the right way, especially in the morning, it responds, no matter your age. This is why I encourage you to stick with me through this conversation, because by the end of it, you'll know exactly what that number one breakfast food is, why it works so well for circulation, and how you can start incorporating it into your routine. Imagine being able to walk with more energy, think with more clarity, and even feel more confident in your most intimate moments, all because of a simple, accessible food you can enjoy every single morning. Now, before we go deeper, I'd like to pause and invite you to be part of this journey with me. If what I'm sharing already resonates with you, if you've felt the fatigue, the heaviness, or the slowdown that comes with aging, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss the rest of this important conversation. And here's something I'd really appreciate. Leave me a yes or a no in the comments. Yes, if you've noticed your energy or circulation isn't what it used to be, or no, if you still feel like you're in top form. I do go through your answers, and they help me understand what you're experiencing so I can tailor this advice to what really matters to you. Coming back to George, within just a couple of weeks of changing his breakfast, he started to notice that the heaviness in his legs had eased. He told me, "Doc, I didn't realize how much of my day was being controlled by what I was eating in the morning. Now I get up and feel like I can actually get things done." His wife even noticed that he seemed more engaged in conversation, less irritable, and more confident in their relationship. That's the ripple effect of getting circulation and energy back. It doesn't just affect your body, it changes how you live your life. What I want to stress here is that the food we'll be talking about isn't exotic, expensive, or hard to find. You don't need to track down supplements or chase after some rare superfood. This is something you can buy at your local grocery store, prepare in just a few minutes, and make a habit of, without feeling deprived or restricted. In fact, most men find they enjoy it so much, it becomes the highlight of their morning. You see, when you fuel your body first thing with something that opens up your blood vessels, supports healthy oxygen flow, and gives you steady energy, you're setting the foundation for your entire day. Your circulation improves, which means nutrients reach your muscles, your brain, and yes, your most vital areas more effectively. That translates into more stamina for walking, more sharpness when you're reading the morning paper, and more vitality when you're with your partner. As a doctor who has seen men struggle silently with fatigue and declining performance, I can't tell you how important it is to take this seriously. Too often, I meet men who accept their symptoms as an unavoidable part of aging. But I want you to hear this clearly. Aging does not have to mean decline. With the right approach, men in their 60s and beyond can experience energy, strength, and intimacy that rivals their younger years. And it starts with choices as simple as what you put on your plate in the morning. So, as we continue this conversation, think about your own mornings. Do you skip breakfast or settle for something quick and processed? Do you find yourself dragging by mid-morning, needing another cup of coffee to keep going? If so, you're exactly the man I'm talking to, because the right breakfast choice can be the turning point for your circulation, your energy, and your overall performance. When I left off, I asked you to think about your own mornings, what you put on your plate, and how it shapes the rest of your day. Now, let's take a deeper look at why breakfast matters so much, especially for men over 60, and why the food I'm going to share with you is so powerful for circulation, energy, and performance. Think of your body like a classic car. If you've got a beautiful old vehicle, maybe something from the 1960s or 70s, you know it won't run on just any kind of fuel. You need the right kind of oil, the right maintenance, and steady care to keep it humming smoothly. Your body works the same way. After 60, the engine still runs, but the fuel you put in makes all the difference. Start your morning with the wrong fuel and your engine sputters all day long. But start with the right one, and suddenly you've got the kind of steady power and responsiveness you didn't think was possible anymore. George, the patient I mentioned earlier, came back to me after about a month of making changes. He was almost glowing when he walked into my office. He said, "Dr. Easton, I feel like someone flipped a switch inside me. I'm walking easier, I don't feel drained by lunchtime, and even my golf buddies asked what I've been doing differently." That's the thing about circulation and energy. You don't just feel it inside, other people notice it too. So let's talk about why circulation slows down as we age. Over time, our blood vessels naturally lose some of their flexibility. Think of a garden hose that's been left out in the sun for years. It doesn't bend as easily, and water doesn't flow through it as smoothly. On top of that, decades of food choices, stress, and lack of movement can build up plaque inside those vessels, narrowing the path even further. That's why men often feel heavier in the legs, colder in the hands and feet, or less responsive where it matters most. The good news is, your diet can actually help restore flexibility and promote better flow. And here's where the magic of this particular breakfast food comes in. It's packed with natural compounds that relax your blood vessels and improve nitric oxide levels, which act like tiny messengers, telling your arteries to open up and let blood move freely. More flow means more oxygen delivery to every part of your body. And when oxygen and nutrients get where they need to go, you feel energized, sharp, and capable. When George started eating this food in the mornings, he told me something that really stuck with me. He said, "Dr. Easton, I feel like someone flipped a switch inside me. I'm walking easier, I don't feel drained by lunchtime, and even my golf buddies asked what I've been doing differently." That's the thing about circulation and energy. You don't just feel it inside, other people notice it too. So let's talk about why circulation slows down as we age. Over time, our blood vessels naturally lose some of their flexibility. Think of a garden hose that's been left out in the sun for years. It doesn't bend as easily, and water doesn't flow through it as smoothly. On top of that, decades of food choices, stress, and lack of movement can build up plaque inside those vessels, narrowing the path even further. That's why men often feel heavier in the legs, colder in the hands and feet, or less responsive where it matters most. The good news is, your diet can actually help restore flexibility and promote better flow. And here's where the magic of this particular breakfast food comes in. It's packed with natural compounds that relax your blood vessels and improve nitric oxide levels, which act like tiny messengers, telling your arteries to open up and let blood move freely. More flow means more oxygen delivery to every part of your body. And when oxygen and nutrients get where they need to go, you feel energized, sharp, and capable. When George started eating this food in the mornings, he told me something that really stuck with me. He said, "Dr. Easton, it's like the lights are back on in my body." He didn't need that third cup of coffee. He wasn't falling asleep in his recliner at 2 in the afternoon. And when he and his wife spent time together, he felt more alive than he had in years. That's not magic, it's biology responding to the right fuel. Now I want to remind you of something important. The reason I'm sharing this isn't just to give you facts, it's because I want you to experience this kind of transformation for yourself. I've seen far too many men resign themselves to a life of decline, thinking there's nothing they can do. But I'm here to tell you there is something you can do. And it starts with the choices you make each day, starting at the breakfast table. Let me pause here and ask you for something small in return. If this message is making sense to you, if you've ever felt the effects of low circulation or fading energy, do me a favor, tap the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you'll always get these conversations when they come out. And most importantly, leave me a quick yes or no in the comments below. Yes, if you felt that afternoon crash or noticed changes in your performance, or no if you haven't experienced that yet. I really do read through your responses, and they help me understand how to better serve you with advice that matters. Coming back to George, one of the most powerful changes he noticed was in his confidence. It wasn't just about physical energy. He started saying yes more often, to walks with his wife, to outings with his friends, even to tackling projects around the house that he'd been putting off. And here's the truth, when your circulation improves, it impacts every part of your life, from your independence to your relationships. You're not just adding more years, you're adding more life to the years you already have. I've often told my patients, you can't stop the calendar from moving forward, but you can decide how you'll live each day. And that decision is shaped by habits. Every morning is a fresh chance to choose vitality over decline, energy over fatigue, and connection over withdrawal. The food we're talking about is not a miracle cure. It's simply the right tool at the right time in life. And once you experience the difference, you won't want to go back. So picture this with me for a moment. Tomorrow morning, you sit down to breakfast, not with a sugary pastry or processed cereal, but with a meal that actively opens your blood vessels, fuels your muscles, and primes your mind for the day. As the hours pass, you notice that you're still steady on your feet, alert in your thoughts, and ready to enjoy the moments that come your way. That's the power of giving your body what it truly needs. For George, this change didn't just improve his mornings, it transformed his entire outlook. He told me, "Dr. Easton, I used to dread waking up because I knew I'd feel tired before the day even started. Now, I actually look forward to my mornings." That, to me, is the ultimate measure of success. Not just living longer, but living better, with joy and energy that makes life feel worthwhile.
When we think about aging, too often we picture the decline. Slower steps, lower energy, fewer opportunities to do the things we love. But what if instead of decline, we saw aging as an opportunity to fine-tune and optimize our health in ways that truly matter? That's exactly what George discovered as he kept going with the breakfast change I suggested. By simply making one new food a daily habit, he experienced more than just better circulation. He experienced renewal. One of the first things George noticed after a couple of months was that his mornings no longer dragged on in a haze. He used to sit with his coffee, staring at the newspaper but not really absorbing the words. "It's like my brain was fogged over," he told me. But once his circulation improved, he felt sharper. He could concentrate, remember details, and follow conversations with ease. This isn't surprising because healthy circulation isn't just about your heart or your legs, it's about your brain too. When your brain gets steady blood flow and oxygen, it responds with clarity and focus. I remember George saying, "Doc, I thought memory lapses were just part of getting older, but now I realize I just wasn't fueling my brain right." And I can't tell you how many men over 60 sit in my office with that same concern, worried about forgetfulness, worried about losing their independence, worried about not being themselves anymore. So if you've ever felt that fog, I want you to know, sometimes the problem isn't age itself, it's circulation. And circulation can be improved. But it didn't stop at his mind. George's energy carried into his physical activity too. He used to dread mowing the lawn because he'd have to stop every 15 minutes to catch his breath. Now he moves through the yard steadily and finishes without feeling drained. That steady stamina comes from oxygen-rich blood nourishing the muscles. Imagine for a moment being able to walk longer, climb stairs without stopping, or enjoy a round of golf without that mid-game slump. These are the real everyday differences circulation makes. And let's not avoid the topic many men shy away from: performance. For George, the difference was noticeable there too. "I feel like my body actually responds when I need it to," he said quietly, with a smile. That's because performance depends heavily on good circulation. When the blood vessels are flexible and responsive, the body is capable of doing what it was designed to do, even at 60, 70, or beyond. Too many men quietly accept decline in this area, thinking nothing can be done. But I'm here to tell you, your body is capable of more than you might believe. Now, I want to remind you why I'm sharing George's story. It's not just to inspire you, but to show you what's possible. You might be sitting there thinking, "Doc, I'm too far gone for this to work." But I've seen men well into their 70s and even early 80s experience remarkable improvements just by changing how they start their mornings. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. And when you give your body the right kind of fuel, it rewards you with vitality. Let me pause for a moment and invite you to take part in this conversation. If what I'm sharing feels relevant to your life, if you've ever felt that fogginess in the morning, that heaviness in your steps, or that loss of confidence, go ahead and like this video. Make sure you're subscribed and tap the bell so you don't miss what's coming. And I'd love for you to comment yes or no below. Yes, if you've noticed changes in your focus, stamina, or performance as you've aged? And no, if you haven't. Those simple comments really do help me understand what you're going through so I can bring you the advice that matters most. George's wife also shared something with me that really touched my heart. She said, "Dr. Easton, I feel like I have my husband back. It wasn't just about more energy or better physical health, it was about connection. He was more present with her, more affectionate, more willing to spend time together. When men feel depleted, they often withdraw, not just from activities, but from their loved ones. Restoring energy and circulation restores more than health, it restores relationships." And maybe that's the most important point of all. Health is not just about numbers on a chart. It's about how you live your days, how you connect with the people you love, and how you feel about yourself. The right food in the morning may sound simple, but the ripple effect it creates can transform everything around you. George told me he wished he'd known about this years earlier, but I reminded him it's never too late. Whether you're 60, 70, or even older, your body is still capable of change. Your blood vessels can still respond, your muscles can still strengthen, and your mind can still sharpen. The human body is remarkably resilient, no matter how many birthdays you've celebrated. So I want you to picture your own mornings again. Imagine waking up with more clarity, moving through your day with more energy, and ending it with a sense of fulfillment instead of exhaustion. That's what happens when you take charge of your health with choices as small but powerful as breakfast. And the best part is, you don't have to overhaul your entire lifestyle to see these benefits. You just need to be intentional about the first fuel you give your body each day. For George, that one change became the foundation for other healthy choices. Once he started feeling better, he was more motivated to go for walks, to cook healthier meals with his wife, and to keep up with his grandchildren. Energy begets energy. Once you have a little more, you naturally want to do more. That's how transformation builds, one small step at a time. And I want to encourage you with this truth. You deserve to feel good in your body, no matter your age. You deserve mornings that start with vitality, not fatigue. You deserve relationships full of presence and connection. And yes, you deserve confidence and performance that makes you feel alive. Don't let anyone tell you that these things are behind you.
When George first came to see me, he was discouraged. He thought the heaviness in his legs, the fog in his mind, and the decline in his performance were all just inevitable signs of getting older. But as you've heard in his story, one simple change, adding the right food to his breakfast, opened the door to transformation. And here's the truth. George's story is not unique. I've seen countless men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond experience the same kind of renewal when they start fueling their mornings with this #1 breakfast food for circulation, energy, and performance. So what is this powerful food? It's none other than oats. Simple, humble, and available in every grocery store. But don't let their simplicity fool you. Oats are rich in a type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which helps clear out cholesterol that clogs arteries, improves blood vessel flexibility, and promotes steady circulation. They also support healthy blood sugar, giving you smooth, steady energy instead of the crashes you get from processed cereals or pastries. And they're packed with compounds that encourage nitric oxide production, helping your blood vessels relax and open for better flow throughout the body. Now, you might be thinking, "Doc, I've eaten oatmeal before and it didn't feel that special." But here's the key: consistency and preparation. George didn't just have a bowl of sugary instant oatmeal once in a while. He made oats the foundation of his mornings. Sometimes he cooked steel-cut oats, sometimes rolled oats, and he topped them with heart-healthy add-ons like berries, nuts, or a drizzle of honey. Over time, his circulation improved, his stamina returned, and his confidence grew. This is why I tell men over 60 that oats aren't just a breakfast food, they're a health strategy. They're affordable, versatile, and one of the most scientifically supported foods you can eat to protect your heart, energize your day, and improve your performance as a man. The difference is not in trying them once, It's in making them part of your morning ritual, day after day. George once told me, "Dr. Easton, I never thought something so simple could change so much." And I smiled because that's exactly the beauty of it. Health doesn't always come from complicated solutions or expensive supplements. Sometimes it's about going back to basics and giving your body the kind of nourishment it truly needs. Now, let me pause here and turn to you. If this message has resonated, if you see yourself in George's story, if you felt the fog, the fatigue, or the loss of confidence, I'd love to hear from you. Please go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the advice I share here. And most importantly, leave me a simple yes or no in the comments below. Yes, if you're ready to start your mornings with something that builds you up instead of slowing you down, or no if you're not quite convinced yet. I do read through your answers, and your feedback helps me know what's truly important to you. Here's what I want you to remember. Your age does not define your vitality. What defines it are the choices you make each day. By starting your morning with oats, you're not just choosing a healthy breakfast, you're choosing clearer thinking, stronger circulation, steadier energy, and greater confidence. You're choosing to engage more with your loved ones, to say yes to activities you enjoy, and to live with a renewed sense of strength. George is now in his early 70s, and he often tells me he feels better today than he did in his mid-60s. He's proof that it's never too late to reclaim your health and vitality. And so are the countless other men I've worked with who've made this same change. Their lives are richer, fuller, and more vibrant, not because they found a miracle cure, but because they chose consistency with something simple and powerful. So as I close this conversation with you today, I want to leave you with this encouragement. Tomorrow morning, when you stand in your kitchen deciding what to eat, remember George's story. Remember that you have the power to shape your day, your energy, and your future with one small choice. It's never too late to feel alive again. It's never too late to reclaim confidence, strength, and connection. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and I want you to know I believe in your ability to thrive at every age. Start with your breakfast and let it be the first step towards a more energized, confident, and fulfilling life. You deserve it.